So I don't want to come in too hot with my newfound confidence. After the last 26 years, I should never be anything but humble when it comes to talking about my own writing. But I think in the past 2 weeks, maybe, oh maybe, I have finally crested that most challenging of hills. It all started with the second day of the Smoke-Long Quarterly March Micro Madness workshop. I had just finished my last refill, the one about starting with conflict first, and said, yeah, Art, this is the perfect opportunity to practice what you preach. So on day 2, I wrote a story where time metaphorically runs with you until it outpaces you. It was a clever concept, and I executed the language skillfully, but the idea was hidden too much because I was timid and uncertain, basically scared of being direct. I assumed I needed to shroud the metaphor in fancy prose, and all it accomplished was to keep the reader at arm's length. I know this because the feedback, while largely positive, had a consistent undertow of, sounds great, but what's happening here? Or, I had to read this twice before I got it. And that made me mad. Mad at myself, to be specific. I was angry that I was again being purposely obtuse. I wasn't trying to cloud the meaning or hide the metaphor, but I thought, incorrectly, that I had to be cute or clever about it. Just say what you mean, I told myself. You can be on the nose, and maybe you have to be on the nose when the metaphor is unusual. Essentially, I told myself, don't keep the reader in the dark. So day 3, I wrote a first-person list story. I started off just listing a bunch of urban myths, silly things that we believe, even though they aren't true. Halfway through writing it, I found a thread, a story inside the list. There was no lyrical prose, though the sentences flowed well, but it was a departure from my norm, and people friggin' loved it. The story itself didn't quite hang together. It needs a revision to again set the stage properly, like who is talking to whom, what is the situation, etc. But this one had fire in the belly. It had a point of view, and folks responded to it very well. Day 4, I wrote a better story. Then on day 5, day 6, 7, and onward, every day, a better story. Stronger audience support, the constant adjustments over multiple days, seeing what the audience responded well to, leaning into what works, that's made all the difference. It's still me writing. I haven't changed what I'm doing, but I am paying more attention to what the reader needs. More direct metaphors, more clarity up front, no more pretty prose just for the sake of lyricism. The workshop has been very helpful in painting the target for me, and in the past 5 days, I've done some of the best work of my whole life. It didn't happen overnight, but I am building a steady confidence that is making the next day's effort more than possible. It feels inevitable. What we can take from my epiphany and apply more broadly to all of our work is being intentional about narrative distance. How distant, aloof, or unaffected by the events of the plot do you want the reader to be? This alone will determine how you approach the story at the sentence level. For example, let's say 2 sisters who happen upon a babbling brook. The Stoic sister might describe the utility of the brook, how it can bring life-giving water to the town they live in, or how it draws the boundary between theirs and their neighbor's estate. The passionate sister might describe how ice-cold the water is when she plunges her hand into it, how clean it tastes from the cup of her palm, how smooth the rocks are along the riverbed. Neither of these is better than the other. They both have a place. Think of these as 2 forms of narrative distance, where the Stoic sister is far away from the visceral experience of the brook, while the passionate sister is right on top of it, communicating that feeling of it to the reader. As you craft your fiction, feel confident to adjust your focus, just like the lens of a telescope, to grow or shrink the physical, emotional, or spiritual expression of your characters. Only you know the proper distance, but you can trust your beta readers to help you find it. See you next week. Start writing.